What if I told you there's a massive, multi-billion-dollar plan to completely transform Vietnam's economy? A plan that's supposedly funded by a super advanced AI trading bot and is all part of a geopolitical strategy that goes back decades. Well, this isn't a movie plot. It's a real high-stakes project, and we're going to break it all down. This one sentence, coming from someone deep inside the project, really says it all. This is not just about making money or launching a new business. No, this is about something much, much bigger. We're talking about a story that could literally reshape an entire region. So how in the world do we even begin to understand this? Well, we're going to peel it back layer by layer. First, we'll look at the incredible scale of the plan itself. Then we'll dive into the engine that's supposed to power it all, cash flow and AI. After that, we'll uncover its secret history, map out the whole network of companies involved, and get to the heart of its true mission, nation building. And finally, we'll have to ask, is this a work of genius or just a crazy gamble? All right, let's start with the ambition, because to really get what's going on here, you have to appreciate the sheer scale of this project. We're not talking about a startup here. We're talking about trying to architect the future of an entire country. Here it is, the number at the very center of this whole thing. $130 billion. That's the amount of Japanese investment this project is aiming to bring into the region, with Vietnam being ground zero. And listen, this isn't just some number they pulled out of a hat. It's supposedly part of a massive strategy put into motion by the late Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. So the big question is, why Vietnam? Well, the whole plan really hinges on the country's political stability. That's seen as the essential bedrock to attract the kind of massive private investment they're talking about. The idea is to create this super transparent environment to make it all work. And it all leads back to this really powerful and patriotic Vietnamese vision, Dân Dô, Nuc Mung, which means rich people, strong country. It's a deep-seated national dream. Okay, but a plan this massive immediately brings up a giant question mark. How are you possibly going to fund it? And this is where the story takes a turn into something that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. We're talking high-frequency trading and artificial intelligence. Right, this is the multi-billion-dollar question. Before all that giant investment shows up, where does the initial money come from? The answer is, well, it's pretty out there. Get ready for this, because it's a huge claim. The entire project is apparently being bootstrapped by an AI trading bot that they claim can deliver a 400% return in 1 month. Yeah, you heard that right. It sounds almost impossible, but this is the absolute core of their entire financial strategy. So how do they justify this? It's actually pretty fascinating. On the left, you've got the human trader. They argue we humans fail because of emotions, fear, greed, and this tendency in Vietnamese trading culture known as gung lint, which is basically refusing to cut your losses. But the AI on the right, it's the total opposite. It's pure, cold, calculated discipline. It just follows the rules, it always uses a stop loss, and it can work 24/7 without ever getting tired or emotional. So here's the game plan in 3 steps. First, they take a tiny bit of seed money, literally just the interest from a large bank deposit. Step 2, the AI bot takes that small amount and goes to work, aiming for those insane returns we just talked about. And finally, step 3, the profits from that are used to pay back clients and fund the whole operation. It's an incredibly risky, high-leverage strategy that depends entirely on that AI performing perfectly. Now, a plan this wild and this complicated doesn't just appear out of thin air. It turns out it has a long, secretive, and frankly, almost unbelievable backstory. The story supposedly kicks off all the way back in 1979 with a Japanese company that's said to have links to the royal family. Now let's fast forward to 2015. Its Vietnamese counterpart, called Ba Chia Hua, or Three Keys, gets started as a kind of test of trust. But then, about 4 years ago, it all came crashing down. A critical cash flow from a massive account got blocked. The project completely imploded. And yet, today, somehow, it's risen from the ashes. And this quote right here tells you exactly what they learned from that epic failure. The old motto was all about love and trust. The new one, Lê Ki Lut Lam Suk Mat, discipline is strength. This shows a huge pivot away from idealism towards a new focus on strict, hard-nosed execution. You know, a lot like the AI itself. So, after that collapse and rebirth, what does this project actually look like today? Well, it's not just one company anymore. It's an entire ecosystem of interconnected businesses. and each one has a very specific job to do. It really rests on three main pillars. You've got OHW, that's the tech and training company. They handle the AI and all the human resources. Then there's Bachia Kwa, which is the commercial side of things, building out a whole network of stores and services. And finally, you have APL, the financial arm, which is set up to handle all the banking, securities, and insurance. And the whole point of this structure is to create a totally closed-loop economy. I mean, think about it. From your bank, to your insurance, to the supermarket you shop at, to the cafe where you get your coffee, it's all part of one system. They're even planning their own digital currency. The end goal is to build a self-sustaining world for its members, where value just circulates inside the ecosystem. And that brings us to the real mission. All of this stuff, the complex companies, the AI, the crazy history, it's all serving a much, much larger purpose. It's about a geopolitical vision. Now, this is probably the most shocking statement to come from the project's leadership, but here's their logic. They believe that for this massive wave of foreign investment to happen, you need absolute, unwavering political stability. So for them, protecting the current political system isn't about politics. It's a purely pragmatic requirement to achieve their economic and national goals. So the end game becomes pretty clear. Step 1, secure the political environment. Step 2, open the floodgates for that Japanese investment. The ultimate goal is to fundamentally lift up Vietnam's entire economy, and they have some wild targets, like raising the average salary for a civil servant to 1 billion Vietnamese dong a year. That's over $40,000. And it's all positioned as the final act of that grand regional strategy that started with Shinzo Abe. So when you put all of these pieces on the table, the sheer audacity of this whole plan is just staggering. It's a massive, high-stakes bet on technology, on discipline, and on the geopolitical stars aligning just right. The leaders of this project live by a classic Vietnamese philosophy, Tai Không Bat Giặc, which literally means catching a tiger with bare hands. It's all about achieving the impossible with nothing but your own intellect and strategy. It's about creating something huge out of nothing, which is exactly what their AI is supposed to be doing with that little bit of seed capital. But here's the catch, the immediate make-or-break challenge. To even begin to justify billions of dollars eventually flowing in from Japan, they have to prove they're legit. So they've set a goal for themselves, generate $1 billion in real, actual revenue by March of next year. Because think about it, if you only make a few million and then $1 billion suddenly appears in your bank account, that looks really bad. They have to build a real business, and fast. And so that's where we're left, with one massive question. Is this a revolutionary new blueprint for building a nation powered by cutting-edge tech and a bold geopolitical vision? Or is it just a beautiful, complicated dream built on promises that are simply too good and too wild to be true? I guess we'll have to wait and see.